Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing another what's for dinner. So I'm sharing 4 easy recipes. Anyone can make these. I am actually a working mom, so I work for an eye doctor. And during the whole pandemic thing, I've been working 3 days a week, and the other 2 days I am working from home. So if you want to see the 4 meals that I made this week, then just keep on watching. Okay, so this first meal is gonna be chicken fried rice with crab rangoon and freezer egg rolls. So I'm just starting out by putting some chicken in a pan with salt and pepper, olive oil. I actually previously cooked this in the crock pot and then put it in the freezer to save for later. So I am using this up right now. Also for the chicken fried rice, I'm going to be using the Hamburger Helper brand. This is actually really good. I actually made it with too much chicken, if that's even possible. But let me know down below, do you guys prep your chicken like this, or do you just cook it whenever you need it? I really enjoy cooking it in the crock pot and then taking it out whenever I need it. Just makes things easier, and also whenever I break it up into bagged portions, I know how many meals I have with my chicken. Next, we are going to get started on the crab rangoon. I actually ended up buying egg roll wrappers, so they were a lot bigger, but we are just starting with some imitation crab. I do not like this stuff. It does not smell good, and I was actually getting nauseous while I was cutting this up. So I did not make very much of it, which was a good thing because it was actually too much. So I am just cutting this up and trying to dice it as finely as possible. You'll see me here in just a second break out my Euro chopper, which I normally use for onions, but I figured it would be good for this as well. And then I've actually already prepped the cream cheese mixture. It's over there to the side, and we're just gonna put the egg rolls together. So now that the crab is all cut up, I'm just going to incorporate it into the cream cheese mixture. This recipe I will try and find and type it out down below. It's not a link, it was just a picture that I found on Pinterest. But let me just say this now. I will not be making this again just because of the crab. I was not a fan of the smell and the texture and just all of the above. But the cream cheese mixture was actually really good. So if you're a fan of imitation crab and you really love crab rangoon, then definitely try this. But if you are somebody that can't handle seafood smell, don't even try this. But I'm just putting these together. I had to watch a couple YouTube videos to finally nail down how to actually roll them up. And like I said before, I got egg roll wrappers instead of wontons. So my crab rangoon are really big and they look like egg rolls. My husband, when he saw it, he was like, "What is this?" I was like, "Just eat it." But anyway, we are finishing up putting these together, and I'm going to bake these in the oven on, I believe it was 425 for 12 minutes. And I did brush it with some olive oil, which helped it really crisp up. Okay, so now that we have our crab rangoon in the oven, I'm just gonna finish up the chicken fried rice. I'm just stirring it up. I just follow the directions on the back of the package. But right now, I'm just gonna make a little well for the scrambled eggs. This is totally optional. Honestly, I don't think it really makes that big of a difference, but I wanted it to be authentic, and so I followed the directions on the back of the package. But after this is done, I will show you how everything came together. Okay, so here it is. I think the egg rolls turned out really good. I really probably should have flipped them halfway through, but I think they looked really pretty. And then I just served this with some frozen egg rolls. Just follow the directions on the back of the package as well. So now we're gonna get started on our next meal. I just had these yellow baby potatoes that I needed to use up, so I'm just cutting them into chunks, and then I'm gonna roast them in the oven. Also, I had some mushrooms that needed to be used up. I forgot to use them on Father's Day, so I'm just gonna roast those with the potatoes as well. I actually don't cook with mushrooms very much, but my husband loves them, so I'm really trying to make more of what he likes. So I rinsed these and then patted them dry with a paper towel. And then I'm just seasoning everything with onion powder, garlic powder, seasoned salt, and then drizzling it with olive oil to make sure everything crisps up. And then I am baking these in the oven on 425. I started out at 20 minutes, flipping them halfway through, but I ended up having to go another 10 minutes. And really they probably could have went another 5 or 10 minutes after that. So I don't enjoy roasting potatoes because it takes so long, but I really love the way that they taste. So anyway, moving on to the green beans. I'm just emptying 2 cans of green beans into this whatever it is, pot. And then I love seasoning my green beans with these beef bouillon cubes. If you've not tried it, I highly recommend. It's just 1 cube to 1 can of green beans. And I'm just gonna let that boil while I work on my Velveeta helper, or Velveeta skillet, whatever you wanna call it. So I just use canned chicken for this. I've not cooked with canned chicken in so long, so I wanted to get some and just see if we still like it. Honestly, I think that we got burnt out because I was using it so much when we were younger and first together, but it turned out really good. So I just put it in some olive oil and seasoned with salt and pepper, and then I'm just adding some water to the skillet, and I'm gonna go ahead and put together the Velveeta helper and get that boiling. So after the 20 minutes, I was just stirring these again. Like I said before, they did have to go another 10 minutes and could have went another 20. But I'm just stirring these up just to make sure that they're not sticking to the bottom of the pan. I do love using aluminum foil whenever I'm cooking like this because it's such an easy way to clean up. And I mean, if you can tell, I still have my work clothes on, so I was really just trying to get dinner done this night. But now that the Velveeta skillet is done, I'm just stirring it up, and then I'm gonna add in the cheese packet. If you guys have not tried the Velveeta skillets, they are, I think, around $3, and they are really good. Every one that we have tried has been really good, and this was the chicken and broccoli one, and I took this for work for the next 2 days because it was just so good, and my family really liked it. My kids ate it. My husband is not a fan of broccoli, so he wasn't a huge fan, but I mean, if the kids eat it, it's a kind of a win in my book. Okay, here's how it all came together. We just served it with a side of peaches. So this next meal is baked tortellini. I actually saw this on my Facebook page and I had to try it. So I just browned up some ground beef and then I'm adding some crushed tomatoes. Basically, I'm just making my own marinara sauce, which I have really been loving doing. I'm still trying to nail down the exact recipe, and whenever I do, I will definitely share it with you guys. But this batch was so good. My husband absolutely loved it. I actually took it to work the next day because it made so much, so everybody at work loved it as well. But that is what I'm doing right here, just, you know, putting everything together. Also, I've mentioned it before, but if you have dry herbs, rub them in your hands to warm them up to release all of those oils so that the flavors will come out more. I actually learned that from my grandma, and ever since she told me that, I've been doing it, and it has made such a difference. I'm not someone that cooks with fresh herbs just because I don't like having them in my fridge. I'm always afraid they're gonna go bad, so I just keep dried herbs on hand, but it definitely makes the biggest difference. So I will definitely leave this recipe down below if you would like to try it, but it calls for a block of cream cheese, and I was a little skeptical about it at first, but honestly, after it all came together and I saw pictures afterwards, I was so happy that we tried this. This was so good. If you try any recipe in this video, please try this because you will not regret it. But I'm just putting some cheese into the marinara mixture, and I'm just gonna let it melt together and stir it, and then we will put everything together. Okay, so when I was at the store, I actually bought the family size of tortellini, which is why I had so much. I told the girls at work, I said, I bought a family sized pack of tortellini, but I think it was actually office size. So anyway, I'm just incorporating everything together, and then I'm gonna move it to a baking dish. And then I will top it with some Parmesan cheese and just a little bit of mozzarella cheese. I got cheese tortellini, so there was already quite a bit of cheese in the dish. So I did not want to overpower everything with cheese. And then I just baked it in the oven on, I believe, 375 for 20 minutes. But like I said below, I will link the recipe down below. I actually added some dried parsley on top too. I forgot that I did that, just to make it look a little bit prettier. And then here is what it looked like when it came out of the oven. Doesn't that look amazing? It was so good. Okay, so this last recipe is called Marry Me Chicken. It's one of the most pinned recipes on Pinterest. Also, there's a lot of people on YouTube that make it. I know Tiffany Beeston really loves it. She says it's super easy, but honestly, I would not classify this as beginner friendly. I don't know. Anytime you have to make your own sauce, I don't feel like it's beginner friendly. But anyways, I am just browning up the chicken with some olive oil, and I did season it with salt and pepper. I did end up having to throw this batch back in to get a little more brown just because I wanted really a lot of glaze on it, but this chicken was really good. Whenever I cook chicken, that is the main focus. I always get the Purdue organic chicken or grass-fed or whatever you call it. It's like really good quality chicken. So I always get that whenever I am getting chicken. That is the primary focus in a meal. Here I'm just adding the second batch of chicken in. I ended up having 6 chicken breasts in this package, and it was just enough for us for dinner and then lunch for the next day. So this portion was perfect. If you can see on the bottom all of that good juiciness and flavor, I cannot wait to show you the next step. Of course, this recipe will be linked down below as well, but I am just adding some minced garlic and then just trying to deglaze the pan basically. And then I will add my seasoning and we'll add the chicken broth and heavy cream, and it'll make such a good little sauce to put over the chicken. I ended up doubling the sauce recipe, but honestly, next time I probably won't. We ended up having a lot of sauce, so I think if maybe I would have served it with like mashed potatoes or something like that, we could have used it as gravy, but it didn't really thicken up like it was supposed to, so I will not double the recipe next time. But now I'm just adding these sun-dried tomatoes. I really feel like these sun-dried tomatoes is what brings it all together. Also, it called for Parmesan cheese, but I added just a little bit. I did not want to overpower it by Parmesan cheese because it has such a sweet, or not sweet, it has such a salty taste. So anyways, I am just going to let this simmer until it starts to thicken up, and then we are going to dump it on top of the chicken and bake it in the oven. I think I did this at 375 for about 30 minutes, maybe 40. Like I said, the recipe is down below, but this was so good, you guys. I highly recommend trying this as well. This video had so many good recipes. The only one that we did not like was the crab Ringoon, and I gave you some tips on how to make that work for you, but I'm just throwing this in the oven. I did not cover it or anything. The recipe did not say anything about covering it, but this is how it turned out. It was so good. My house smelled so good, and I actually gave a piece to a girl at work the next day, and she loved it as well. So I just served it with some cheesy broccoli and some rice pilaf. So much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Also down below in the description box, I have the recipes linked if you ever need them. So other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.